Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, today we're in part 9. Part 9 is eyeshadow palettes, and this is going to be my longest video for my makeup collection. So just to tell you guys up front, in case you guys don't want to sit here for 30 minutes watching me talk about eyeshadow palettes. But I have 4 drawers full, and then 2 palettes up in here in my everyday makeup drawer, and I'm just going to be going through them. Oh, and I have some up here. Just going to be talking about those. And if I recommend them to you, I would definitely throw that out there. I also have a mixture of like colorful palettes, glitters, all that. So I'm going to be throwing those in there. I think I'm also going to throw in my eyeshadow primers too, because I only have like 2. So, no, 3. I have 3. So I'm going to throw those in first before we get into eyeshadow palettes. But I hope you guys enjoy, and grab you guys some coffee, because I know I am. Oh, and if you're new to my channel, my name is Lainey, and welcome to my channel. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just throw in my eyeshadow primer. So first up, I have the Lorac Behind the Scenes eye primer. I have not used this yet, so I don't know my thoughts on it. But I got this as a free gift with something that I bought. I think it was my Lorac palettes that I have. But I have this in my everyday makeup drawer so that I can try it. So we're going to be trying it soon. Alright, next up, I have the Morphe Eye Lid Primer. And this is in the shade Translucent. This is one of my favorites. This is like by far my favorite. I had the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow primer, but I did not like that. A lot of people like it, but I don't. I don't like the white cast on it, because if you don't put eyeshadow on top of it, you will just see that white cast, and it's just, yeah. But this is a really, really good one. Very, very nice. And it's like $9. Alright, then my last eyeshadow primer, this is a mini of the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This is right here. I love this. It's very, very nice. Very thin texture to it. It's not thick and heavy, so you don't feel it on your eyelids. But I've used it a couple times, and I've enjoyed it every time I used it. Okay, so we're getting into my first drawer, which these are my smaller palettes. So first up, we have the Charlotte Tilbury. This is her Easy Eyeshadow Palette. And this is such a beautiful palette. I love this. This definitely has the pretty warm tone neutrals that I love. I've used this a couple times, and I don't know the price on this, but it is definitely one of the prettier, more expensive palettes that I've tried. But I bought this off of Mercari, so I definitely didn't buy it for the full price that it was. I definitely do recommend like Mercari for finding eyeshadow palettes, because you can get such a good bargain from Mercari buying these palettes from them. And I will go ahead and mention all the ones that are from Mercari, so that you guys know, like, wow, you can find good palettes on there. But I did find this one on there, and I totally love it. Okay, this next one is from Maven Beauty. This came in a BoxyCharm a while back. This is their Cosmic Drip little eyeshadow palette, and this is in the shade, or this is the palette Stargate. This is a beautiful little pressed glitter palette, and I love this. I've used this shade, and they both turned out really, really pretty with the look that I was going for. I'm ready to use these two. I'm very scared, but this is a really, really pretty palette, and I love the look of it is so cute. Okay, and then these next palettes are from Huda. Make sure I don't have any more. These are from Huda Beauty. I have bigger Huda palettes, but they're in a different drawer. So first up, I have the Mauve Obsessions palette. I got this off of Mercari. But this is what it looks like. Very, very pretty palette. I love the cooler tone shades in here, and then the nice mauve tones. And then I have Amethyst Obsessions. I also got this off of Mercari. I have not tried this one yet. But I love the purples in here, and I'm ready to be trying it soon. Also, the Ruby Obsessions I bought from Mercari. This one I haven't tried as well, but it has beautiful shimmers in here. This one right here is very, very pretty. I think I bought this one off from Mercari. I'm not really sure. This is the Coral Obsessions. I love this one. This one's really, really pretty. I used this a while back, and I fell instantly in love with it. And then surprisingly, I did not buy this one off of Mercari. This one I actually bought from Sephora, but this is the Topaz Obsessions. This one is my favorite out of all of them because of the warm neutrals in here. I absolutely love it. You could create a beautiful sunset look, which I am wanting to do very, very soon. This shade right here is so pretty. Alright, this one is from Marc Jacobs, and I pulled this from my everyday makeup drawer because this is a smaller palette. This is the Elec-trik palette, and let me show you guys. I have not used this. No, I might have. There's a little bit of brush marks in there, but this is it right here. Very, very pretty palette. The color story is a little different to me, but honestly, I'm ready to try it because I love Marc Jacobs, and I got such a good bargain on this. I think I got this from Sephora, and it was on sale for like $29, so I really got a good deal on this. And look at the packaging. The little glitter in it. I love it. Okay, this one is my last one that I bought off of Mercari for my smaller palettes. So this is the Sassy Siennas palette from Dosa Colors. I'm so ready to get the other ones. I'm ready to collect them. The brush is falling out. But I have not gotten the chance to use this because I actually just got this. But look at those shades. They're so pretty. And I love the whole matte look in here. Very, very pretty. I am definitely a matte eyeshadow girl. But I love this palette. It's so cute, and I'm so ready to use it. Okay, and then the rest of these I bought myself. So first up, we have the mini Nubian palette from Juvia's Place. You guys know my love for this is so good, and the shadows are so pigmented. I love the shimmers as well. They are also very, very nice. And this is a really, really good travel tool. Right, next up we have a palette from Smith & Colt. This is their Sombra Shift Matte and Metallic Eyeshadow Palette in Dusk Blaze. This is beautiful. I got this for Christmas about 2 years ago, and I love this so much. This green is my favorite shade in here, but other than that, this palette is really, really nice. All the shades work so good together, and Smith & Colt, they are very underrated. Okay, next up I have this little Tartelette palette from Tarte. I had all three of them, but I didn't really care for the other two, so I got rid of them, and this one stayed. This is the little toasted one, and you guys know why I kept it, because of the warm neutrals, and it smells really, really good. But this is what the palette looks like. It's so, so nice, so pretty. I love the warm neutrals in here. This little shimmer right here is one of my favorites in the entire palette. Okay, and then the rest of these for my smaller palettes are Colourpop. So I'm going to go through the plastic packaging, and then we'll get into the cardboard packaging. So we have the Going Coconuts, which this one is my baby. This one has the neutrals that I like, but they are in the middle of warm and cooler tones. I had the Nude Mood palette as well, which that one's in a cardboard packaging. That one is exactly like this one, but a little bit of warmer tones. So if you like a palette with a little bit more of a warmer neutral tone to it, this is not for you, because this one is a little bit more in the middle of both. Cool and warm, but this guy, I love it. Okay, and then we have the Wild Child palette. This is so beautiful. I love the giraffe little style on the front, and I love the inside as well. I have dug into this shade so much. It is so beautiful. This little palette is so cute, and I definitely recommend this for somebody that's a little bit deeper of skin tone. But if you're fair like me, you can definitely pull this off as well. But this is definitely one of those palettes that a deeper complexion could pull off too. Alright, next up we have On Cloud Blue. This one I have not tried yet. This one still has the tape on it too. I don't get it. I don't get why all of my products have the tape still on it. But this is it right here. Very, very pretty. I bought this brand new a while back, and I still haven't used it, so I really need to be using these. Right, and then my last plastic packaging one, I have the Baby Got Peach. This one is so pretty. I love this. It's very gorgeous. I love the tones in here. I am not a big fan of Colourpop's pressed glitters. This has a pressed glitter, and I'm just not a big fan. I don't know. They just don't speak to me that well, but I do really like this palette. Okay, and now we have 3 cardboard packaging ones. So I have the All Things Equinox. This is a cool toned, beautiful palette. I love this so much. All the tones work so beautifully together. And I was kind of hesitant on that because looking at it, you're kind of just like, how is that going to work with that shade? How is that going to work with that shade? You know, just kind of like, how does this color story work? But they honestly go so good together. And if you want to see me do an eye look on this, I will do that. But it's very pretty, and I absolutely love this. Okay, and then we have the Costa Coral palette. This one I've used numerous times. Does not look like it, but I have. But I love this. See, I like the palettes like this that do not have that pressed glitter in there because that is one less shade that you can use. But I love the colors in here. This is a beautiful summery palette, and I just love it. And this little detail up here is so pretty. All right, and then my last small Colourpop palette, I have this She's Got Celeste, and this one is really pretty. This shade like exploded whenever I used it. But this one is a really pretty, more pinky, mauve tone palette, and it's really pretty. I love this. This little Mars shade right here is like calling my name. I didn't even realize that until now. But this little gold shade is really pretty. Okay, now we're getting into my more rectangular palettes. Okay, so I pulled all of them out, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to first touch on Morphe. I have their little vault collection with Jaclyn Hill. So first up we have the Bling Boss, which this one is more of a nude purple pink palette. I had this in the past, so I have not used this one, but I've used an older one. And I love that one. I don't know why I decluttered it. Please don't ask me why, because I don't remember why. But this one is a really good palette. Okay, then we have the Armed and Gorgeous palette. This one I've been meaning to get into because the shades in here are so pretty. Very pretty oranges, deep oranges, reds, more neutral shades. This green right here is so pretty. I love green. If you guys did not know, I love dark green. So pretty. But this one's really pretty, and I need to be using this. But when this month is up, I'm going to be changing up my everyday makeup drawer, so this might end up in there. Right, next up we have Dark Magic. This one I'm surprised that I like as much because the tones in here are definitely more cooler, and they have 2 deep green shades in here, which are gorgeous, by the way. Then they have like this olive shade right here. I love this palette so much. It is so pretty, and I like it a lot more than I thought I would. And then of course we have Ring the Alarm. This one is my go-to palette if I reach for these. This one is more of a warmer toned neutral palette. It has a little pink glitter in here, some deeper browns, a little bit of orange shades, gold shades, and I love that in a palette. Okay, now we have from Urban Decay, this is the Naked Honey palette, and this is so pretty. I need to be using this too, because this one I was so intrigued by. I don't know what it is about me and eyeshadow palettes, but I get so excited about an eyeshadow palette, and then I don't use it once I get it. It's weird. But this is it right here. I love this so much. Sorry, my dad called. He's on the way home, and we're going to go to lunch. But, so this is it right here. Very pretty palette. I love, again, with the greens. I am obsessed with green. I don't know what it is, but these are so pretty in shades, and I love the little look of this. So I really need to be using this as well. Okay, next up we have from I Heart Revolution. I have these 2 little palettes, and they're so cute. I got this from Marshalls. I got these 2 palettes from Marshalls. And this is the Tasty Chili palette. Look at the packaging. So pretty. I'm trying to open it. Okay. But this is it right here. Very, very pretty. This palette is not my favorite, just because they kind of throw in like a purple in here. Like, where's the purple come from? But other than that, they have really, really pretty shades in here. I see the shade Chipotle. That's cute. But I've been meaning to do a look on this, but I need to stop doing that because I have so many palettes and I have an everyday makeup drawer, and I need to stop doing that because then I'm going to break my rule and start using palettes that aren't in the everyday makeup drawer. Okay, next up we have this one right here. This one is so pretty. This is the Coffee palette, and this is my favorite out of both of them. They are so, so pretty. This one is very, very beautiful. I love the brown look to the palette. It definitely sets the mood for the palette, and I love the look of this. So I really need to be using this. Okay, next up we're going to get into all of my Lorac palettes. I am a big Lorac fan. So first up I have the Lorac Pro. This is the original, and this one is so pretty. I also love how the palettes bend back like this, so that when you are applying like eyeshadow, you can just hold it and, you know, do that. You know, you don't have to make sure the palette is sitting upright. But this is it right here. I've used it a good bit. This is one of my favorite ones that they've ever released. This is the oldest one that they've released, but this one's really, really pretty, and I love it. We also have Lorac Pro 2. This one is more of a cooler toned palette. This is it right here. Very, very pretty. This dark blue is so pretty. This one is probably my least favorite because it's a cooler tone palette, but I've actually been getting into cooler tone palettes recently. And then, okay, so this is the one that I bought off of Ulta Beauty. The other three I bought off of Macari. So, yeah. But this is the Lorac Pro 3. I love this one too. This one is probably my favorite out of all of them. This one's more of a warmer neutral shade palette, and I love the look of this. It's so, so pretty and very, very, just draws your attention. And then we have the Lorac Pro 4. And this one I have not used yet. I need to use it. But this one is a little bit more in the middle of all three of them. It's kind of like a cooler tone palette, but then it has some warm neutrals in it as well. So it has a good mixture of all three of them. Okay, and then we have this little bundle of miscellaneous. So first up we have this Kylie palette, and I don't know which one this is. Anyways, but this is a Kylie palette. This is an old Kylie palette. I bought this off of Macari. So I bought it looking like this, but the inside has not been touched at all. I haven't even used it yet, but this is the inside. Very, very pretty. I love the look of this. I've never been a real Kylie fan, but then I started like testing out her products and stuff, and I actually really enjoy them. Okay, next up we have from Laura Lee Los Angeles Cosmetics, or whatever. Laura Lee Los Angeles. This is her Nude Patootie palette. I want to get the second one. I like this palette. It's very, very nice. In my opinion, it's a little bit more on the nude side. It's not warm. It's not cool. It's like in the middle. And my least favorite part about this palette is how big it is. It is so long, and it doesn't really fit into my organizers very well. But the palette is really, really nice. And then last but not least, for my rectangular palettes, we have the Berries and Cream palette from Dominique Cosmetics. And this is the inside. This one you cannot bend back. Well, you can, but you probably break it. But this is it right here. This palette is probably my least favorite out of all the ones that I have, because this one doesn't really catch my attention. Like, the color story is very weird in my opinion. But it is a very, very nice palette. I've used it a couple times, and I really like my look whenever I used it. Okay, now I have my third drawer, which these are like miscellaneous palettes. I need a drink break first. Okay, now I'm just going to be going through these miscellaneous palettes. So first up I have from Colourpop, this is their Sandstone palette. This is the only other Colourpop palette that I have. I used to have more, but I got rid of them because I didn't use them. But this is it right here. I've used this a couple times. Very, very pretty. I love the color story of this. It's very, very different. Very cool. But Ooh, that dark green's pretty. Okay, next up we have from Ace Beauty. This is their Nostalgia palette, and I honestly almost got rid of this. But as I started looking at it, I was like, I can't. This is so pretty. This is more of a colorful palette, and definitely out of my comfort zone. But I want to get out of my comfort zone and start trying colorful palettes like this. Okay guys, I'm back. I went and ate lunch with my dad. So now we are back and we're going to continue. So next up I have this palette from Ofra. This is their Good To Go mini mix palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm a couple months ago. And this guy right here has a mixture of, like, it has a blush in here, or bronzer, a blush, which that blush is actually really, really pretty. It has a highlighter, and then you have some eyeshadow shades. But this is a really, really good travel item to take with you if you go somewhere. I need to use this because this is really, really pretty, and I'm excited to try this. So, this blue is really, really pretty, and I love this little gold shade right here. But yeah, this is a really, really nice little guy to have. Okay, next up I have the Nubian, the full Nubian from Juvia's Place. I like to have both because this guy has more shades in it, where you can use every single day, where the smaller one you can take traveling and still have some of these shades in there, and you don't have to take such a big palette. That's why I like to have both. But this is the inside of the palette right here. Very, very pretty. Nice neutrals, and I love neutral eyeshadow if you guys did not know. Okay, next up from Too Faced, I have the Natural Eyes eyeshadow palette. This was in my Sephora haul, and I love this palette. It is so pretty, and it smells delicious. They have a matte version. They have a matte version of this as well, which I want to pick up, which the shades are exactly the same as they look in here, but they are matte. So I like this because you have a mixture of shimmer and mattes in here. And this palette is overall really, really cute. Okay, next up we have from Butter London. This is such a pretty palette. This is their Teddy Boy palette, and I love this. It is so, so good. It is a nice cool tone palette, which I wasn't into cool tone palettes until I got this guy. Very, very pretty. I love the way that this palette opens. I think it's very unique and cool. And Butter London, I don't hear a lot of people talking about. I had their Natural Goddess palette, but decluttered it because I didn't like the shade range in it. But this palette, or like the, not shade range, the color story, I did not care for the color story. But the color story in here just makes sense, and I actually really love it. Okay, next up from Huda Beauty, I have the Naughty Nude palette, and this is such a beautiful palette. I also got this in my Sephora haul, but this is what it looks like. I love these cool little designs in the pans. I think they're very unique and cool. Very nice neutral palette, and I love this. Okay, I have another palette from Juvia's Place. This is the Nomad, and this guy is very, very pretty. I love the tones in here. Very, very nice. When I first saw this palette, I was intrigued by it, and then I bought it, and I was like, well, it doesn't really go together that well, but they actually really, really do. And I tried this one time off camera as an eye look, and it turned out so good. This shade right here is so pretty. And then, of course, the dark greens. You guys know I love dark green. I realized my candle wasn't lit, so I went over there and lit that. Next up, I have a palette from Dominique Cosmetics, and this is their Celestial Thunder. This came in a BoxyCharm a while back, and I think I missed it, so I went and bought this. But this is it right here. Very, very pretty. The color story is definitely not my favorite. But these little shimmers up here are so, so pretty. And I want to try them so bad. But overall, the shadows are actually really, really nice and pigmented. So I've used this a couple times. It definitely doesn't look like it, but yeah. And then these next two are from Natasha Denona. So I have the Bronze palette. This one is by far my favorite. I haven't tried the other one, but this one is my favorite. I've been looking at this for a very, very long time, and I finally got it. I got this in my Sephora haul as well. These two, I got them in my Sephora haul. But just look at that. So pretty. This is their smaller palette, so these guys are $65. And then I have the Sunrise, which this one's a little bit more colorful. That's what that one looks like. Very, very pretty. I like this one as well. I just haven't gotten the chance to use it. But I need to because $65. Okay, now I'm going to get to the palettes that are on top of here and also the ones that are in my everyday makeup drawer. So let me pull these out. I already talked about one of my everyday makeup drawer palettes. But let's go ahead and get started with the ones that are on top of here. So I have the Jeffree Star Conspiracy Palette with Shane Dawson. There's a lot of stuff that went on with this collection. But I haven't got the chance to use this yet, and I'm thinking about decluttering. My next little series, my next little video after all of these palettes, after this series, I'm going to go through my palettes and really, really think about palettes and declutter. But here is the inside right here. Very, very pretty and colorful, very different. Definitely not a palette that I am like intrigued on using, but I don't know. I like it. I like to collect them. They just take up so much space. Right, next up from Jeffree Star, we have the Blue Blood. This one's really, really pretty. But honestly, I'm thinking about either keeping my Colourpop one or this one because I don't need two blue palettes. But this is what this one looks like. This one's really, really pretty. I like the pops of like different colors in here that aren't all blue. But yeah, it's a really, really pretty palette. I haven't used it yet, unfortunately. Then I have Bloodlust from Jeffree Star. And this one, I'm not really a big fan on. I don't know if it's the color story or what, but it just doesn't intrigue me like I thought it would. So, I don't know. I like Jeffree Star, just, I don't know. And then last but not least, for the bulky palettes, I have the Blood Sugar. I love this one. This one's my favorite out of all of them. And this is the inside. Very, very pretty. This is more of one I would reach for. I've used it like once or twice. And it came out really, really pretty. So I do really enjoy this one. Okay, now we're going to get into the rest of my palettes. So this one is from Perfusion, and this is their 10 Shade Eyeshadow Basics palette. And I got this from TJ Maxx for $4, and I love the inside of this. Very, very pretty. Definitely a palette I would use. I have not used it yet, though. This is one that's in my everyday makeup drawer, so this I will be testing out soon. Okay, and then the rest of these, besides one, are my bigger palettes. So I have the Jeffree Star Cremated palette. That's what that one looks like. Very, very pretty. I haven't tried it yet though because it's a cool tone palette and I'm kind of hesitant on cool tones. Then we have Miss Huda Beauty Volume 1 Textured Neutrals palette, and this is a beautiful palette. I say this every time I talk about this palette, but she did such a good job. I love how the pressed glitters are up here. The metallic shades are right here. Then you have a little bit of shimmer. And then you have the matte shades at the bottom. I love how it's categorized that way. Very, very pretty palette. Then we have Jawbreaker from Jeffree Star Cosmetics. And this is a very, very colorful palette. Very colorful. Like, definitely out of my comfort zone. I kept this because I'm like, dude, I really need to get out of my comfort zone. And I love it. It's so colorful, so rainbowy. Gives me rainbow vibes. I don't know. It's just really, really pretty. Okay, and then my favorite Jeffree Star palette of all time. I know it's going to be a little boring, but this is his Orgy palette. And guys, this is an all matte neutral palette. This is so beautiful. I love this. It is so pretty. This and Blood Sugar are probably my favorite two palettes that he's ever released. And just look at that. Look at that. It is so pretty. I've used this a couple times and it's always came out so good. Then we have the Too Faced Natural Lust palette. I got this also in my Sephora haul. This is what this one looks like. Very, very pretty. I love this so much. Very, very pretty. I've used this a couple times and my look always turned out so well. And then last but not least, for my eyeshadow palettes, I have the Morphe 24G Grand Glam palette. I saw this on somebody's declutter and I saw it and I was like, oh my god, that is so pretty. I need it. So I went on Mercari because this palette is no longer available in Morphe stores. And I found it and it is so pretty. I don't know. I guess I'm just a boring person, but this is so pretty to me and I love the look of this. I haven't gotten the chance to use it because I actually just got it like a week ago. But this is in my everyday makeup drawer, so I will be using this soon. Alright guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little eyeshadow palette collection overview. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, which you guys can't tell. But I love all of them, but I am going to be doing a declutter of them soon because there's so many that I said I loved, but I gotta get rid of them. I gotta get rid of them because they've been sitting here a while and I haven't used them and I don't want eyeshadow palettes to go to waste. So that will be coming soon after this whole collection series is done. But thank you guys so much for watching and y'all stay tuned for the next part.